here at Adweek, there's been a lot of talk, I think for good reasons, about the relationship between programmatic media, programmatic technology, the rise of data, and various other things that attach themselves to this whole programmatic universe, and the impact that that has on creativity, or rather the relationship that that has with creativity. I think that's very positive, actually. I think if we're going to embrace more the technologies that enable us to make better media decisions, if we don't take the creative side of our industry with us, then it's always going to be quite marginal. It's always going to be a line item on the media plan, rather than actually represent an opportunity across the whole media plan. So I think the fact that we're talking about how we're going to engage more with the creative side of our industry is a very positive thing. And I don't think that there's a conflict. You know, I think a lot of the ways that it's been talked about at Adweek has been, you know, well, what do we do about this? How do we negate the risk that programmatic poses for the creative industries? How do we, you know, make sure that they don't eat our lunch, or that we don't, you know, reduce the impact or the relevance of creativity in the process? And I think the opposite is actually true. You know, the creative agencies we work with, and at Xaxis we're very lucky that we have, first of all, our own Xaxis Ad Labs, which is a creative shop we have on the West Coast, and also, because we're part of WPP, phenomenal relationships with our creative agencies. We're very lucky to have the opportunity to work with them and think about how technology and data and other things can be incorporated very early in the planning process. So when it comes to the media buy, it's almost a no-brainer, because the creative is being developed with the capabilities of the technology in mind, whether that be sequential creative targeting, whether it be certain executions for certain audiences. You know, the opportunities are immense. Well, our clients are driving that, which is great. A lot of our clients, and this comes back to Sir Martin's horizontality thing, you know, they're demanding that the agencies cooperate and work much more closely together than they have in the past, in a seamless way. And that's particularly the case between the creative and the media agencies. And of course, we work very closely on the media side. And so for us, it's an immense opportunity, because we're getting brought in, because the client wants it, very early on in the planning, and not the media planning, but the campaign planning process, at the point at which they're deciding what's the insight they're looking for, what do we know about the audience, and then what is the creative execution, what creatives do we need for the media later on. We're being brought in right before all that's even starting. And that's a very interesting part of the conversation, because of course a lot of that creative also creates data points which we can use later on for other optimization. You know, big brand advertisers are thinking about audiences first. You know, and not just for the advertising, if you like, but also for content strategies and other things. I mean, if you want to be a content-driven marketer, if you want to create things that in a very cluttered media space really engage with your audience and with your customers and with your potential customers, you have to take an audience-centric view. There's no point creating content and throwing it out there and hoping someone picks it up. You have to create it with an insight, a consumer insight in mind, and then you have to create the content and the delivery and everything else around that based on that consumer insight. Otherwise, you'll just be wasting a lot of money on probably great content that no one wants to watch or look at. So I think it's, you know, it's that audience-centric approach to the whole marketing piece is something which all the marketers we work with, you know, are really starting to get now, and are challenging their agencies on, rightfully so.